Yay! Hello. 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 Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I think we've got this all set up. Hi, Nicole. Hello, hello, hello. My hair's been so weird. Hello, everybody. Hi, Becca. Hello. So happy that you're here. So happy that you're here. Because you know what? We're in the, it's almost to the new moon. It's like, still 6 days away, but it's almost here. We're almost to the new moon. My bra took him out, sorry. And we're in that last week, that time of, we talked last week about being up at the top of the Ferris wheel and looking around and seeing, where am I? What do I got to do? What's going on? And I talk so much. And so, okay, yeah, I hear you. Okay, so sorry, going in too many different directions. Hang on. So we're at the top of that Ferris wheel and we're looking around and we can see the view and we're going to decide, okay, where am I going next? Where am I going next? Where am I going next? And so as your Ferris wheel, the energy is coming down, which is where we are right now. We're coming down towards the new moon, and we're going to get off and let people on and, get new stuff, and we get reorganized, and we say, okay, and then we go back around the wheel again, right? And so this is the time to be, as you're coming down, you get that great view of the city. This is the time to come be taking a look around and seeing what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Where do I need to, what do I want to change? And as you're doing that, I love this, I love this, I love this. So as you're doing that, I want to say to you, and I wish I could get a blinky neon sign that says, trust spirit, trust the universe, trust your guidance, trust that inner voice, trust. And I thought this was so beautifully illustrated by what's going on with the Olympics. I love the Olympics. I mean, who doesn't love the Olympics, right? And so we have Simone Biles, and bravo to her for putting her health and safety first, and for putting her mental health first, and for knowing what she can and cannot do. Because for a 24-year-old person, to have them put the weight of a nation on their shoulders is ridiculous, because as much as these are amazing athletes, and the things that they can do are just incredible, these are still humans, and it's still a competition and a game, and it's not world peace, and it's not life or death. Thank God. But at the same time, had she put herself out there to compete because people said she was letting down the country, which is bullshit, it could have been life or death. It could have been, because we've seen when I was younger, I had friends whose kids competed in gymnastics, and we would go and watch meets. And when I was younger, I was just obsessed, and I tried gymnastics for a hot minute, and we would go and watch. And we have seen just some horrific things. I mean, really, if you just Google or YouTube Olympic, fails, I imagine you can find some horrendous things. I mean, we were watching the diving, and they had, a 30-second blooper. I use that word, it's not the right word, a crash reel of the diving of these people that fell off the board or hit their heads on the board. I mean, you can just create such incredible damage, and the things that they do to fly through the air and twist and flip and turn, it's mind-boggling for the people sitting on the ground. I can't even imagine how she must, any of these amazing gymnasts must stick the landing and not be like, have you ever done a spin around 3 times? I mean, I dare you, spin around 3 times and then see if you can walk in a straight line. So everyone, has their opinion about, they jumped on her. Did she do the right thing? Did she not do the right thing? And I noticed it's all these people that, are angry men that, think she let the country down, which is ridiculous. And so many women, and especially moms, who are like, you go girl, you prioritize. Because, we have to open up this conversation about mental health and about personal safety and security, especially in this time of the Me Too movement, where we have all these people who are standing up and saying, no, I'm not going to let somebody else push me and take advantage of me. So bravo to her. But what I found so incredible, was because Simone Biles had qualified for every event final, right? The all around and every event final and all of that. The odds were pretty good that if she had competed in all these event finals, she would have won. Actually, another gold medal or silver or whatever in beam and uneven bars and the vault and the floor. She would have won all these things. Except now that she didn't, Jade won a gold medal and Michaela won a silver medal. These are two women that weren't even supposed to have the opportunity to compete at all. They were alternates. Michaela was going to get on a plane to come back to America, and then she won a silver medal. I mean, it's amazing. But if Simone Biles had stayed in the game, she probably would have won a medal. She might have hurt herself, which would be worse. But nature abhors a vacuum. And when you have somebody who is the best in the world, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, which there's no doubt that Simone Biles is, it creates a logjam for anybody else that's coming up behind. And it creates that the universe is trying to say, you did awesome. Now it's time to move on. Now at the same time, I saw Katie Ledecky, a swimmer, who did an interview, and the reporter was like, Katie Ledecky, you've had 2 incredible Olympics and you've won everything. Are you going to retire? And to her credit, she just laughed in the reporter's face, because the decision should be hers, but you make that decision in conjunction with the universe. And when the universe is trying to say to you, hey, there's something else you need to do, there's something else you need to do, and you've all heard me talk about this. You get the niggles, you get the little hello, the little love taps, and then you get the cosmic bitch slap. And Simone Biles, to her credit, listened. She listened enough to say, I don't need a cosmic bitch slap. I hear you. I need to sit down and take a breath. And what blessings and fabulousness came from that, because she wasn't all about me and my accomplishments and my success. Because let's face it, Simone Biles doesn't have anything else to prove to anybody about gymnastics. But what she proved about the kind of human that she is, and what she proved about where her ego is just magnificent. And when we pay attention to those things, those little taps, those little things, magic happens. And so to wake up to the news this morning that Jade, who was so upset yesterday or the day before, whenever it was in Tokyo, because other side of the world, because she had flipped her vault and just to win the gold medal on the floor is just spectacular reassurance from the universe. And so I just want to remind you over and over again. I know I am like a broken record when I talk about trusting spirit and trusting the universe has a plan, and the universe has your back. Because let's face it, Simone Biles is not leaving Tokyo with nothing. I mean, she's got the team medal. They got silver in the team, and now to open up the door for so many other people to have opportunities. And, the time was that being an alternate on, any of the teams was like, and that was so not the case this time. So I just want to remind you, because so often this information is coming through to us, but how rarely does it come through? So I have an itch in my eyeball. How rare is it for it to come through so clearly for the universe to say, if this, then that, watch me work? And I literally, full transparency, I was sitting on the toilet this morning, I was looking at the news, and I was like, oh, she won! And just so excited, because that was such a moment of when you trust in the universe will show up. And I just thought that was so brilliant. And I also really love the fact that Simone Biles, all her sponsors and stuff, have stayed with her to say, we got you back. You're good. You're still Simone Biles. You're still, the greatest gymnast of all time. So you're good. We're cool. And I just thought that was really fantastic, because I know people were like having this worry about that because, money and stuff. But the point from all of this was that there is so much that the universe can do, and that we as humans, especially in this age of consumerism and consumption and greed and mine, we get so caught up in, if I don't do this, if I don't have this, then someone else will have it. And not understanding that there's room for everybody. There is so much room for everyone. And that when we allow the universe to come in, it is expansive and there's blessings for everyone. It's like, Moses tapped the rock. I heard you say that. Moses tapped the rock and the water came forth. Now, he didn't do it the right way, and that's okay. But there is so much more than enough if we can take our egos and our fear-based mindset out of the way. And I just thought that this whole week of watching the gymnastics unfold was such a perfect example of that in motion, of the universe providing in motion. So I just had to share that with you. So as you are coming down in this last quarter of the moon, coming down to the new moon, and moving into, because where are we right now? We're in Leo, right? So this is the time to really share, to think about sharing yourself, your gifts. What can you share with the world that will allow others to step in and relieve a log jam, or that will for a long time, yes, I hear you. For a long time, and many of you know that I'm still a director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and I have been with Mary Kay for more than 20 years, and it's just a joy for me to be able to continue with that. And for a long time, I had a consultant in my unit who was, the top consultant, and nobody else could get a sniff of anything. They, the closest you were going to come in to, win in a contest, any contest, was second, maybe third. And finally, she stepped aside. She moved up. She moved out. She became a director. She, got her own thing, and it was amazing because the second she was out of the way, like all these people just started running to the top and of the leaderboard for all different kind of things. And that's really like nature abhors a vacuum. And so when we can move that rock, with that logjam out of the way and let something else in, let energy flow, because that's the same within us. What is that one thing that's blocking you, that has been keeping you from allowing every other piece of energy to flow and to bless you and to let things rise to the top? And so this is the time of Leo, and this is a great time to let stuff rise. Let stuff, now this isn't about, releasing but this is about sharing your gifts, sharing your wisdom, sharing your thoughts, sharing what, and I'm not saying get all bossy about, you should do this and you should do that, because we shouldn't should on nobody, but share your beliefs, your thoughts, your guidance, your wisdom. We all have something that we can share. And we get very tied up in sharing, who wants to hear from me? I don't know. But somebody shows up and watches these videos, and somebody asks me questions, and people read my blog. And then I get, the people that email or text or whatever and say, thank you. And so I want you to say to yourself, I have something to say. What I have to share is worthy of being shared. This is the time to share. And we've talked a lot about energy and humanity evolving through the chakras, and that we are in the time of the throat chakra. This is the time of the evolution of humanity into the throat chakra. And so even more so that we are in the time of Leo right now, this is the time to share your voice, share your wisdom, share your story, share your experience with others, because you can help people along the way. Even if you helped only one person, it was worth it. It was worth it, even if you helped only one person. And so the card today for our chakras actually is Great and Full, which is up in the crown chakra. And Great and Full, just reminding us to be grateful for what we have, but that we are full up. We are filled with experiences and wisdom and things that are worth it for us to share. Share our hearts, share our guidance, share our thoughts. And, we don't have to come to somebody with, I'm going to share my opinion with you, and, then I'm going to be all mad if you don't do what I think you should do. No. but you can share your wisdom and share your opinion as a suggestion, as an information gathering situation for the person around you to be able to say, if you want my opinion, here's what I think about the situation. Here's what I see. To be able to see it from a different angle. Here's what I see. And what you do with that information is up to you, because when we get all caught up into people taking our advice, that's ego. That's ego. And when I teach people about the 3 questions, we talk about, is this my conundrum problem situation? Do I have the power to fix it? And did anybody ask me to fix it? Okay. And so if, nobody asked and you still wanted to give your opinion, that's fine. But that is not yours to fix. But often, at the same time, you may have something that can help them see things from a different perspective. You may have wisdom or guidance that you can share. When my nephew was born, my nephew is, he's going to be 15 already. He is 15. Oh my gosh. When my nephew was born, my sister, you get your labor and delivery, your birth history from your mother, of course. And my mother doesn't really remember, because my sister and I were born in the time when they just kind of conked you on the head and woke you up and said, "Hey, baby." And so with my labor and delivery history, that I had, 2 babies that were really difficult C-sections. And when I sat in the hospital with my sister while she labored with my nephew, we saw all the same things happening. We saw everything happening exactly the same as that had happened for me twice. And this was her first baby, and to be able to say, this is what I think, because I had some valuable insight to offer. I said, this is what I think. Now the decision is yours, between you and your doctor, and y'all figure it out, but this is what I think. And so you have something that is valuable to share. So don't shy away from sharing it, but don't get all caught up in ego about, listen to me, what kind of idiot is she? Because that's not really what it's about. So the goddess that is with us, I love this. So goddess for today is Saraswati. Saraswati. We'll spell this so that Chris, when she asks me, it says Saraswati. 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 Right? Saraswati. And Saraswati we're going to read, because I got new glasses, because my other ones broke. I'm not sure if I love these yet, but they were what they had. Because, you go into CVS and you get the readers, because these are not my, see when I'm driving glasses. These are just for reading. So Saraswati is about mastery. It says, mastery is a genuine sense of effortless knowledge after a period of dedicated immersion. The Hindu goddess of Saraswati asks you to enter her domain of art, language, knowledge, music, poetry, and make this commitment to go to the distance. Immerse yourself, body, mind, and spirit in discovering all aspects of what is at hand. Learn and then learn more. Right now, if you adopt the role of apprentice and are willing to devote your heart and mind to something, you will become a true master. Deep wisdom knows only continuous learning. Okay, I love that. I love that. Deep wisdom knows only continuous learning. Because this is exactly what we're talking about. We are all works in progress. We are all constantly learning. And yet we all have mastery. We all have something to share. We all have something that is worth sharing. All right, so we are going to finish up with our last 3 cards, which is really more of the reading for the week in a broader sense. And we continue to use Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle cards, which I really do love. Now, I will say that I had the joy and the privilege of participating in Colette Baron Reed's Oracle Palooza this past weekend. It was a really marvelous event. And she was using the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. Now, she had redone this deck, which I was glad to hear, because I wasn't a huge fan of the original deck. And so they redid the deck, and in working with the deck, because you got a set as part of your registration, which was fantastic. And in working with the deck, I really, really like this deck. And so this might be, we've been working with Rebecca Campbell for a long time, and so this might be time for us to change. And so I'm going to spend some time this week playing with the Enchanted Map Oracle cards a little bit more, and see where they take us. So we'll see what happens with that. We do have a jumper card. The jumper card is Mirror. It says who or what is triggering you. And so as we're coming down from this place of that full moon into this last quarter of the moon, and we're looking at where are we being pushed, what are we being, who, this is what we were talking about before, right? What is being, hello, tapping on you, pay attention so that you can avoid that cosmic bitch slap. So who or what is pushing on you, is trying to get your attention. Hello, pay attention, because when we don't listen, those voices get louder and then the pushing gets harder, right? And so the next one is, I love this, you cannot make this stuff up. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Trust your path, right? So this is exactly what we were talking about before, of trust where you're going, trust where you're being guided, listen to them, because when we let them in, magic happens. When we say, nope, I got to do it myself, nope, me, I'm doing it, we close off so much of the flow of energy. We let them in. Let them in. Trust. And what I started off the conversation today saying is, big sign, if I could have a big neon sign that says, trust the universe, trust spirit, trust your path. Trust your path. You are on the right one. You are on the right one. And if you have, heard me before talking about Jeremy Bearimy, that even if you make a wrong turn, you really can't make a wrong turn, because you're going to loop back around. Jeremy Bearimy, you're going to loop back around and get going, moving forward. Every experience is something we are learning from, and something that shifts us and changes us and helps us move forward to be closer to what we came here to experience. And then we have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. You are the oracle. And this goes right back to sharing yourself with others, sharing your story, sharing your wisdom, your guidance with others. I love this. This is a beautiful reading for this week. Stay great and full. Stay great and full, remembering how special you are, and that you are a spark of divine light and providence from the universe. Stay grateful for what you have, but don't shy away from sharing with others what you can. Share your light. Share your light. This is the time of Leo. This is the time of sharing your wisdom, your story. You have much to share. While we stay with Saraswati, watches over us this week in Mastery, we were reminded to continue learning on every level. We want to continue learning and growing and evolving every day. At the same time, share yourself, share your story. You have things to share that can help elevate and move someone else forward on their path. It doesn't serve anyone when we just stand idly by. So many of the issues that we have in our society right now are because good people have stood idly by. Don't stand idly by. Pay attention to the mirror. What is triggering you? What is triggering you? Because Spirit is trying to get your attention. Hey, look over there. Hey, we're trying to get you to notice this. Hey. So please don't stand idly by. Pay attention to those little nudges, because you know what happens if we don't pay attention to the nudges. They get bigger and stronger, and then you get into the cosmic bitch slap, which is it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody. And then trusting your path. Trust your path if you knew you were supported, because guess what? You are 1,000%. You are supported. Trust the path. Trust the path. You cannot make a wrong move. Right? Even the stuff that is negative that comes out, I can think of so many places in my life and in so many other people's lives where they were challenged and I was challenged, and it seemed like it was just going to be the most horrible situation forever. And I use the example of my home. I use that as often as an example. Back in 2009, when the housing market was, crashing and the economy was crashing and the banks were foreclosing and the housing bubble burst and all of these things, we were in the middle of a refi with Bank of America, and Bank of America merged with Countrywide, and through their a clerical error in their computer system, they decided that we were in default on our loan, and we were not. There was just a clerical error. They lost us in the system, and for 3 years, Bank of America tortured us. They called me day in, day out, every 45 minutes, every day from 8 in the morning till 9:30 at night, Monday to Saturday for 3 years, to tell me I was in and out of foreclosure, I was in default, I was late, I was in collections, all of these things, none of which was true. And as soon as I could get the person on the phone to dig a little deeper, they could see the problem, but nobody could fix it. And after 3 years, where I thought I was going to lose my freaking mind, they finally fixed it. We finally got the email of the office of the president of Bank of America, and a guy named Iggy, a guy named Iggy. 3 clicks on the computer and he fixed it. And they, reinstated all of our stuff, and they gave us, we finished our refi, and we ended up with a better loan than we would have had in the start. And at the same time, the government decided that all of these predatory banks and predatory lenders that were doing all of this horrible stuff, Bank of America was foreclosing on homes they didn't even own. So it's a miracle that we were able to fight them off as long as we did. And it was just because they were in such a disarray, and that they just didn't get to us, and we could prove that we were not wrong. They just didn't know what to do about it. And so finally, the government came back, the Department of Justice, and said, you have screwed too many people and you're going to have to make amends. And they had to give back all this money. And we had a second mortgage on the house at the time. And because of all that crap that we went through, Bank of America had to forgive our second mortgage. It's like $85,000, just gone. Now, if you'd have told me at the beginning of all that nightmare that I was going to come out at $85,000 ahead, I'm like, okay, that would have been, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But it would have been easier for me to, weather that storm, except I would not have grown. I would not have learned so many lessons and experienced so many things that, were all about trusting Spirit and letting Spirit into my life, because I was in such a dire and difficult situation. It's in the valleys that we grow. It's in the valleys that we grow. So all things work together for good, and everything has a blessing in it if we're willing to look. So trust the path. Don't, the challenges are not there to torture us. It's not because Spirit has a grudge against you, or that there's something like you're not good or worthy. Even when we go into the valley, like Jeremy Bear Me, right? You make the J and you got to come all the way down here for the loop to come back up to the E, if you to spell out Jeremy Bear Me in cursive. Everything has a balance. Everything has a blessing in it when we let Spirit in, and when we can allow ourselves to see the blessings. So many blessings in my life right now, this very minute, I can directly trace back to some of the shittiest things that have ever happened to me. And there's been some crap, but all of it in the end came to a blessing. All of it. So the more we let Spirit in, the more miracles they can work in our lives, the more we release the logjam of the energy and we let things flow. Let them in. And then the last card that we had was Pillar of Light. Pillar of Light, which was all about sharing your light with others, and being that guidance of love and light, sharing your wisdom with others, and sharing love, helping other people to raise their vibration, to feel more loved, and to spread more love, to share your light. Because you know what? If I have a light and I share my light with you, then we both have a light, and there's more light for everyone. There's so much that the universe is trying to talk to us about with this whole Simone Biles thing, about when we share our light with others, we illuminate the world. When we keep our light for ourselves, we hide our light under a bushel, then everyone loses out. And so it was just such a gift this morning to wake up and to see Jade win the gold medal, and to see Michaela yesterday win the silver. I mean, what an amazing thing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the beginning. But I just think that when we allow the universe in, I don't think, it's what I know and what they tell me, when we allow the universe in, they can do so much more than we can. It is all about sharing the light and sharing the love, and that is how we heal the world. So I want to say thank you for joining me. Yesenia! Mwah! My darling, it's so good to see your name pop up. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a blessed week filled with love and light and joy. Remember, we are coming down from that Ferris wheel. We're coming down to the new moon, which is going to be on the 8th. So make sure you're looking around. What do I got to do? What do I want to shift and change as I get into the next cycle before the Ferris wheel goes back up again? Have a fantastic week, and know how very much you are loved. Mwah.